Hey everyone, welcome back for this deep dive. We're talking all things scaling e-commerce, and more specifically, multi-vendor marketplaces.
Right.
So think Etsy, think Amazon, but obviously, with your own kind of personal spin on things.
Exactly.
And we're really excited to be kind of digging into Selldone as a potential solution for those of you looking to make that leap because, you've outgrown whatever you're currently working with.
For sure.
So I know you've been looking into Selldone.
Yeah.
From your research, how would you kind of frame it in terms of its place in the world of e-commerce?
I think it's really exciting what they're doing, especially if you compare them to kind of the more established players like WooCommerce, right?
Right.
So WooCommerce is great for kind of that initial, if you're just starting out. But when you really want to scale, and you want to, grow, it's kind of like you've outgrown that, right?
Yeah.
And you need something a little bit more robust, something that can handle that, the traffic, the sales, the whole 9 yards.
Right. It's like you're moving from a bicycle to a race car.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you need that engine that can really support
for sure
where you're going.
Absolutely. And that's what Selldone's kind of presenting themselves as, right?
Yeah.
They're that more powerful solution for those businesses that are really ready to scale.
Okay.
And they're taking a slightly different approach, which is interesting.
So in terms of that difference between WooCommerce and, the new kid on the block, Selldone, what are those kind of key advantages? What are they offering that is really setting them apart?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest ones is speed.
Okay.
Selldone is built from the ground up with speed in mind.
Okay.
And they talk a lot about this because, in today's world, people are not messing around.
Right.
If your website takes more than a couple of seconds to load, they're gone.
It's make or break, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Selldone really understands that.
Okay.
So they've really invested in having that super fast, infrastructure, the technology behind the scenes.
Okay, so when you say speed, are we talking about page loading speed or
page loading speed, the whole experience,
the checkout process, everything? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're streamlined for that, from the get-go.
Exactly, and that's one of their kind of key selling points.
Oh, yeah.
That they're really, really fast.
And that's something that as businesses grow, they might not necessarily think about at the very beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're focused on the product.
For sure.
You're focused on, getting
your marketing.
Your branding right.
Marketing, yeah. And then you hit a certain point, and you're like,
and it just can't keep up.
Oh my God, yeah, my website's crashing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exact time I have a big sale or something, yeah.
Right.
So that's one of the things that Selldone really emphasizes is that, they can handle that.
Okay.
They can scale with you as your business grows.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So speed is one of the biggies.
Absolutely, yeah.
What else are they doing differently or better, I guess?
Well, another key aspect is they really try to be an all-in-one solution.
Okay.
Right? So rather than having to go out and piece together all these different plugins and tools, they try to build a lot of that functionality directly into the platform.
Okay, so it's more of a one-stop shop kind of.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they want it to be super easy for you to get started and to manage everything all in one place.
And that makes a lot of sense, especially when we're talking about these multi-vendor marketplaces, because inherently there's already a lot of moving parts.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
You've got different sellers, you've got products, you've got
inventory,
payments, all that stuff.
And so to try to piece that together from different providers, that could get...
It can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It really can.
A nightmare, exactly.
Yeah, so that's, I think, another big selling point for Selldone.
Okay.
Is that they try to make it as seamless as possible for you to manage all of that.
Okay, so they're kind of tackling that complexity.
Yes.
Can arise from having all those different vendors.
Yeah, they're trying to streamline it.
Okay.
And make it as kind of user-friendly as possible.
Okay, so we've got speed, we've got kind of that all-in-one solution.
Yep.
What other challenges are they kind of speaking to with their platform?
I think, another one is the whole idea of security.
Okay. Yeah. And that's a big one, especially these days.
Especially in e-commerce. Yeah.
Because you're dealing with people's money.
Yeah.
Their data.
Yeah.
it's like you can't mess around with that stuff.
Right. And it seems like every other day there's a new
I know, right?
data breach.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's constant.
It's scary. Yeah.
So how are they addressing that?
So I think with Selldone, because they control the entire platform, right? They're not relying on like a million different plugins and things like that.
Right.
They can really build that security in from the ground up.
Okay.
And they can make sure that everything is kind of, updated regularly.
So it's they're taking care of all that behind the scenes stuff.
Exactly.
So you as the business owner or, the entrepreneur don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to be a security expert.
Right, right.
You can focus on your business.
Yeah, okay. So they're taking that off your plate, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's one less thing for you to worry about.
Which is huge because that can be a full-time job in itself, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just staying on top of all that stuff.
For sure.
So that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got speed, we've got the all-in-one solution, we've got security.
Yep.
Are there other like pain points that they're addressing?
Yeah, I think another big one is the whole cost thing.
Okay.
Right? Because on the surface, WooCommerce might seem cheaper, right?
Right. Because it's
open source.
Open source, yeah.
But
it's deceptive.
But it's very deceptive.
Yeah.
Because when you start factoring in all the plugins you need,
right,
the themes, the hosting,
right,
potentially hiring developers to customize things,
right,
it can get really expensive really fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then there's the cost of your time.
Right. Exactly.
Like how much time are you spending?
That you could be spending elsewhere in your business.
Exactly. Yeah. Like working on your business, not in your business, as they say.
Right. Right.
And I think Selldone recognizes that.
Okay.
And they try to be very transparent with their pricing.
Okay.
So they have, different plans based on your needs.
Okay.
But you know exactly what you're getting.
Okay.
And there's no, like, hidden fees.
Right. So it's more straightforward.
Exactly. It's more straightforward.
Okay. That makes sense because, I think that's a really good point that a lot of people don't necessarily consider.
They don't, yeah.
Like you look at the price tag and you're like,
oh, this is free.
Oh, WooCommerce is free. Right. Yeah. That's the way to go.
Exactly.
But then you get into it. You're like,
and then you're like 3 plugins deep and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. This is costing me how much?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So they're really trying to be upfront about that.
Exactly.
Okay. So, we've talked about speed. We've talked about this all-in-one approach, security, cost.
Yep.
Anything else that we should be aware of in terms of?
Yeah. I mean, I think another thing that Selldone emphasizes is support.
Okay.
Right. So with WooCommerce, you're kind of on your own.
Right.
You can go to the forums. You can Google things.
Right.
But it's not always easy to find the answers you need.
Right.
And it can be really frustrating.
Especially if you're not,
Especially if you're not technical. Yeah.
Technical, right?
Yeah. And so Selldone, they really try to provide that kind of personalized support.
Okay.
Right. So they have a dedicated support team. You could reach out to them via email, chat, whatever.
So they're easier to get a hold of.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're there to help you every step of the way.
And that's, that's huge because as anyone who's kind of gone down the rabbit hole,
I know, right?
Trying to troubleshoot a technical issue knows
that's the worst.
It's the worst, especially when you're on a deadline. You're just like,
I just need to get this done.
I just need an answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't this working?
Exactly.
So it's good that they're really emphasizing that and that they're making that a priority.
Yeah, I think that's a big differentiator for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So far, it's sounding like Selldone has a lot to offer.
Definitely.
Especially for those businesses that are really ready to scale and grow.
For sure.
But I'm always curious to see how this actually plays out in the real world.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So do you have any examples of businesses that have made the switch and what kind of results they've seen?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple of good ones.
Okay, let's hear.
Let me tell you about them. So one example that comes to mind is this fashion brand. And they were really starting to take off. They had a lot of great designs. People loved their stuff, but they were on WooCommerce.
Okay.
And they were just getting crushed by traffic.
Oh, no.
Every time they did a big sale or a product launch, their website would just grind to a halt.
Oof. Yeah, that's the worst.
it was a nightmare for them and for their customers.
Like the customers.
It was like losing them sales, damaging their brand, the whole thing.
Right, because people are just going to give up.
Exactly.
If they can't.
They're gone.
Yeah.
They don't have time to wait around.
Yeah, no one's got patience for that these days.
Exactly. So they were like, okay, we need to do something about this.
Right.
Can't keep running our business like this.
So they saw Selldone as like that solution.
Exactly. They made the switch.
Okay.
And it was like night and day, according to them.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, they saw a huge improvement in speed, obviously. That was like the main thing.
Right.
But it also just made everything so much easier for them.
In what sense?
Like managing inventory, processing orders.
Okay.
Even just like the day-to-day running of their store.
Okay.
It was just like smoother, more efficient, less stressful.
Okay, so less headaches.
Way less headaches.
All around.
Oh, yeah.
And did that translate to like actual business results?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, they saw a significant increase in sales.
Okay.
Which makes sense, right?
Right.
When your website's faster, people are more likely to buy things.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like a better experience all around.
Makes sense.
So yeah, they were really happy with the switch.
Okay.
It was a good move for them.
That's awesome.
It was a good case study.
Yeah, that's what I love to hear, those like real world examples.
Oh,
of,
exactly.
Like, okay, it's not just, marketing hype.
Right.
Like, this actually works.
That's the real deal.
This is the real deal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So another interesting story I came across
Okay.
was this entrepreneur, and they had this vision of creating like an online marketplace
Okay.
specifically for handmade goods.
Okay, cool.
So think Etsy, but like maybe even more niche,
Okay.
more curated.
Okay, yeah.
And they started looking into WooCommerce
Okay.
because they heard it was good for marketplaces,
Right.
but they quickly realized it was going to be a huge headache.
Right, yeah. Because you're basically Frankensteining it.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a lot of plugins,
Yeah.
a lot of custom coding, a lot of maintenance.
Right.
And they were not technical,
Right.
like at all. They just wanted to like curate beautiful things.
Right. Focus on the products, focus on the sellers.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't want to become like WordPress experts.
Right. Right.
So they stumbled upon Selldone.
Okay.
And they were like, wait a minute, this is exactly what we need.
Uh-huh.
Because Selldone has this whole multi-vendor marketplace functionality built in, like it's just part of the platform.
So it's ready to go, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. You just like flip a switch
Oh, wow.
and you're off to the races.
Okay.
So they were able to set up their marketplace super quickly,
Okay.
start onboarding vendors,
Yeah.
and they were off and running.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's been a huge success for them.
Okay, so like what does success look like in this case?
I mean, they've grown to over 200 vendors
Wow.
in like a year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're killing it.
That's awesome.
They're really happy with Selldone.
Wow, so they were able to like really scale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and without having to like pull their hair out.
Right, which is key.
Which is key, exactly.
That can be really disheartening.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're
especially in the early days.
Yeah, like you're so excited about this idea and then you hit all these roadblocks.
It's soul crushing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just like, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Yeah. So it's cool that Selldone was able to kind of remove those roadblocks for them.
Exactly. They just made it easy.
Okay.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to focus on your passion, not the tech stuff.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, totally. And it sounds like, in both of these cases, what Selldone is really offering is that peace of mind.
Okay.
That sense of like, okay, I've got a platform that can handle it.
Right.
I can focus on growing my business. I don't have to worry about the tech stuff.
It's taken care of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, whether you're just starting out or you're already well on your way, Selldone's kind of positioning themselves as that solution.
Right, to help you get to that next level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach.
It is. And, it's like the e-commerce landscape is
it's constantly changing
so quickly.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
That it's like you need
a platform that can adapt.
You need a platform that can adapt, and you need a platform that is...
And that's built for the future, not stuck in the past.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Selldone's doing a good job of that.
Okay.
So far, at least.
Yeah. It's exciting to see.
It is, yeah. I'm curious to see where they go from here.
Yeah, me too.
It's definitely a company to watch.
Yeah, and, for any of our listeners who are kind of intrigued by what they're hearing and want to learn more,
check them out.
We'll be sure to link to Selldone
Yeah, definitely.
The show notes.
Their website's great. They've got a lot of good information on there.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a platform to kind of take your business to the next level, Selldone's definitely worth a look.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for kind of taking us through.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it.
The ins and outs of Selldone and, how it compares to
absolutely.
the kind of more established
WooCommerce of the world.
Players out there. So
exactly.
That's super helpful.
Glad it was helpful.
And until next time.
Until next time.
Happy selling, everyone.